Jeffrey Disvan here on the live stream board. He threatened to get the first 9 darter of the year. 12 months ago it was raining perfect legs here in the UK Open qualifiers in Wigan. Went 1 from Ronnie Huybrechts. Darren Webster got in on the act. 2 from Michael van Gerwen in the same match. Jeffrey Disvan, 102 average in his victory over Peter Hudson. A real treat to kick off today. We did see a defeat for Danny Nopper in the prelim match too. But here it's in England's Andrew Gilding against Finland's Marko Kantele.
It's Andrew's bullseye.
Has won titles in Scandinavia. Appeared on the European Tour a couple of times last year, coming through the Nordic and Baltic qualifiers. He's already qualified for 1 event this year too. The first European Tour event of 2018.
Andrew to throw first.
Beat Magnus Carris in the final. Having seen off Dennis Nilsson and Daniel Larsson before that. Andrew Gilding is a man who has reached the semi-finals of the UK Open just 3 years ago, when he had a thrilling tournament, playing fantastic darts. He's kind of gone off the boil for the last couple of years. I think that's fair to say, but may well be working his way back. There was a time when he was a real threat at all of these
96
Pro Tour events. And was tipped to be a big danger in the TV events, but really that UK Open semi-final run was
134.
The only time that he threatened to do something rather special. And he got into a fabulous battle with Michael van Gerwen in the semi-finals. You may remember it, 10-8, MVG coming through eventually before going on to win the title, beating Peter Wright, who's the reigning and defending UK Open champion.
.59.
2 rather more methodical players than the pair that we saw in the previous match. Gilding's got his whole pre-shot routine. Going for a little walk along the hockey before he launches his arrows. And Kantele is a man with concentration etched across his face. Throws every single dart deliberately. There you got a view of Andrew Gilding's sort of ritual before he throws. Doesn't even look at the board until he gets to his position in the hockey. It's quite rare for players to stand that far to the left hand side as well. A few that do stand across to the right. Now then,
76.
double 16 missed after setting up the shot, so Gilding gets a chance for the 110. It would only be to hold his throw. Needs a treble 18. Nowhere near.
40.
And Marko can get off the mark by finishing 32. They may well have blocked his route there.
16.
Yeah, just left himself with too much to do. Gilding only managed to score 40 in the previous visit, so he's still got a combination check out in front of him. Double top, about half the bed to aim at.
30. Game shot.
And in the end, Kantele breaks in 19 darts. Let's bring you a few latest scores. Ryan Harrington, who won his tour card at Q School, is 4-0 up on Colin Littlecut. Robbie John Rodriguez, a 5-2 lead he has against Christopher Bent. And the Brazilian Diogo Portela is currently leading Terry Temple by 5 legs to 1. Last leg decider in progress between Aaron Monk and Martin Turner. Monk returning to the Pro Tour after a couple of year absence, the former under-21 world champion.
$98.
Gilding needs to try and get himself going, and this might just do the trick.
180.
In the first leg, he couldn't go out after 21 darts.
83.
This time he's only thrown 6 and is over halfway.
$140.
Has had a professional 9-dart leg himself, Gilding. 47 years old. Doesn't have a PDC title to his name, despite the performances he was putting in on the Pro Tour 3 years or so ago.
42.
Well, could only set up the finish in the end. And Kantele looking at 80 to double his lead. Will only get 1 dart at double top. And he's missed it. As you can see, Rob Cross and Corey Cadby set to clash in the second round here. If you want to join the conversation, the hashtag is there on your screen. UKOQ1. As Andrew Gilding breaks back and levels up in the early stages of this contest. It hasn't reached the standards of what we've seen before.
$100.
A few notable results from around the arena here in Wigan. Jeff Smith, the Canadian, seen off Adam Smith-Neal 6-3.
83.
The young Austrian Rusty J. Rodriguez, the JDC world champion, he's beaten Mike Norton 6-5. Jamie Caban through to the second round, as is Chris Dobey.
96.
Ryan Palmer's seen off one of the 3 Rodriguez brothers in action today. Roxy beaten by the Lion. There's also been wins for Peter Jakes, an impressive win 100. For Paul Nicholson, seeing off Greece's John Michael 6-3. Another Canadian in Dawson Merschel through the 6-4 success against Darren Layden. You can check out all those results and the 100. Upcoming fixtures yourself at the Match Centre at pdc.tv.
$100.
The pick of the bunch today, that performance from Jeffrey Disvan, almost 102 average, fighting 6 scores of over 170. And we're going to see him in action again against Stephen Bunting in a couple of games' time. Coming up next will be Kevin Munch against Brian Rahman.
58.
The man who defeated Danny Noppert in our very first match of this year's UK Open Qualifier Series. That's a treble 11 from Gilding, so he wants double 16. Double 8 will do just as well.
Game shot.
And Andrew Gilding takes the lead for the first time. First hold of throwing the match. Well, I can respond to Philip's tweet without typing. Yes, Dart Connect is being used.
84.
For information on the Pro Tour events this year. So we're all very excited to have the information about averages and all that kind of thing. Although the averages in this match, nothing to write home about so far, it has to be said. Mid-80s. But Andrew Gilding has certainly improved. It was a horror show of a first leg for him, really.
99.
He seems to have just found his range a little more on the trebles.
$85. $41.
Just too many stray darts so far from both players. Finding the 5s and the 1s. And Kantele in a strong position to level up after Gilding only availed 41 in his previous visit. Needs 2 trebles to leave himself any kind of outs. And he's unable to find even 1, so the Finn wants double 18.
80. $100.
Double 18 then. Missed it last time out. Misses it this time. Double 9. But he thought it was in. Recomposes himself.
Game shot.
And he was right to do so. 2-2.
$140.
Terry Jenkins on his return to the PDC Pro Tour has enjoyed a victory against Jerry Hendricks. Went all the way to a last leg decider. Jenkins, of course, a former UK Open finalist himself. Not many tournaments that he didn't reach the final of. On the telly.
$57.
In a win for Mark Dudbridge on his return to professional darts, having come through the Challenge Tour last year. flashback on the PDC circuit. Former World Championship finalist. A 6-3 victory for starters against Kevin Garcia. But in this contest, these two men playing a very, very similar standard. Deadlock after 4 legs.
100.
And 2 tricky combinations in front of them, but Kantele has done a third of the job. Can't do any more than that. So 1, 2, 3 sounds easy. I assure you it's not. But can Andrew Gilding make it look like it is? 19's the most conventional route. Can't be done now.
47.
So 80 the target for Kantele. Another single would leave double top. Well, has he missed the board completely there? He has.
40.
Well, that's a huge, huge mistake from Marko. And Gilding will look to capitalise. No need to be that far away. He was wary of busting by hitting the treble. Didn't get himself a dart or double at all, and in the end, he's made to pay.
$58. $55.
For those of you that are interested in those statistics, powered by Dart Connect, 60. Jeffrey Desvan's average of 102 has been superseded already today. The Welshman Robert Owen has averaged over 106 in his opening victory.
57.
This pair not threatening to get near that. Very similar standard. 85 and 86. The averages in this one.
$58.
And a timely tweet of great darts. It was sent 10 minutes ago, that's why. But the important thing was the missed dart at the single 20 in the previous leg from Kantele. Didn't get himself a dart at a double, and Gilding punished with the 76 finish. And now he's looking to make hay once again.
80.
Second maximum for Goldfinger, gets himself down to a finish.
$29.
And he's got half a dozen darts at it. May well only need 3, treble 17.
91.
But it's a decent setup shot. noticed Wayne Mardle recently on Twitter saying that players may well start to stop leaving 60, because when your darts stand up slightly in the single, just like that, it can obscure the double. It's got to be perfect placement, and they are perfectly pitched by Andrew Gilding. And he's opened up a bit of daylight between himself and the Finn. You could see there the dart low on the
60.
treble 20 meant that he had to switch down the board. He uses quite bulky darts, quite bulbous barrels.
$97. $99. $180.
Kantele getting in on the act finally, adding his first maximum. And it's very timely as well, because this is against the throw. Gilding hasn't mustered up a score of more than a ton in this leg.
$60.
So Kantele down to a huge checkout. Gilding needs at least a couple of trebles to join him on a possible out. He ain't going to do that now.
45. $140.
Yeah, it was a stunning start to the Premier League last night. But back to the bread and butter here today in Wigan. As I mentioned earlier, most of those players have made the trip from Dublin to Lancashire. Notable exceptions of Gary Anderson and Menzo Suljevic. Double 12 then to break.
No score.
Going to get 3 more darts if he needs them, because Gilding's way back on 182. Go on, Andrew, leave yourself double 1. Not going to happen now. The first dart was perfectly poised in the treble for him to follow with at least one of them, but he cuts it down to 77 just in case Kantele makes a hash of it this time. But the match is back on throw.
$100. $96. $140. $60.
Well, matches underway around the sports hall here at Robin Park, involving the likes of Robert Thornton now. James Wade won his first leg against Daffyd Edwards.
40.
An interesting first round match pairing two young guns together, Dimitri Vandenberg and Martin Schindler. Vandenberg, the world youth champion, who had a fantastic world championship, but he finds himself 3-1 behind against the wall, the German youngster.
95.
Keep an eye on that one. Another youngster, Nico Bloom, currently playing a last leg decider against Darren Beveridge.
100.
Kantele in this one has got himself down to a
96.
decent checkout. One of those kind of double chance finishers. If he misses a treble 20, he can shoot at treble 17, but he doesn't, so it's 11 or treble thereof for the bullseye. Well, that's wild and wide.
75 scored.
And young Nico Bloom did win that match, 6-5. Fantastic stuff from the youngster. Now Gilding threatening in the 154. Might he stay there? He has switched across. Just fancied that he might have followed it in. And he did follow it in when he came back. It proved to be the wrong choice, because Kantele looking at double 18, and he pins it. And we have a level match once again. But Gilding keeps firing in the treble 20s.
84.
But yet again, another dart straight out of the 3. And it seems to be an emerging pattern for both of these players, though.
140.
Well, nothing stray about those 3. Just those 5s, you feel are costing Andrew Gilding. His average, ironically, is 85, because that's what he seems to keep hitting.
100.
Hugh Ware, one of our referees and often a spotter on these Pro Tour events, getting in on the act this afternoon, and you can join the conversation too. Hashtag UKOQ1. I'm not going to try and pronounce it as a word because you may misunderstand what I'm trying to say.
180.
But understand that, 180 from Marko Kantele. That gets him down to 81 after 9 darts thrown in the leg against the darts. And a potentially match-winning surge from the Flying Finn.
.41.
Just a set-up in the end, but Gilding back on 227. Well, he's left himself handy just in case. But double top to put Kantele in control. Well, that took a real nosedive. Double 10. And that is a long way wide. That's like taking a shot at the end of the area and hitting the corner flag.
20.
And he's not much closer that time. Gilding then, by virtue of the 140s, giving himself an opportunity. Should get a dart at least the bullseye here. Just has to stay straight. And he has.
62.
And that could not be any closer without going in. Resting on that wire. Now Kantele, can he get closer? Well, slightly, but not close enough. Now double 5, he may just be relieved to get off double 10. It's causing him all sorts of trouble. And what kind of things going on? Can only assume that a touch of nerves has overtaken Marko, because Andrew Gilding had no right to win that leg. And can he gather himself again now, knowing that had he just managed to keep his composure and keep his cool in the previous leg, he'd be throwing for the match right now. As it is, he's throwing to keep himself in the tournament. And Andrew Gilding is turning the screw.
140.
Yes, we like it too, Luca. Not sure Marko Kantele is liking what he's seeing
81.
so far. Just seemed to be a bag of nerves at the crucial moment, having put himself in a fabulous position. He's got all the hard work to do again now. The winner of this, incidentally, plays the winner of the next match. That's Brian Raman, who we saw knock out Noppe earlier on. Kevin Munch stands in his way, the man who dropped the jackpot at Alexandra Palace.
54.
So 164 left. Gilding with a ton here, probably still favourite to win the leg. Had to switch, does find a treble.
134.
Finds two trebles. And he's on the verge of victory, unless... Well, unless nothing. Andrew Gilding missed a bullseye for 87 in the previous leg. This time he's earned himself 2 darts at double and only needs 1. And Andrew Gilding, a snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in that one. He moves through to the second round and will take on the winner of our next contest, coming up very shortly, between Kevin Munch and Brian Raman.
Rusty. Big time.